welcome back to Beauty Bees. Today we are doing my Project Pan update. I'm doing this as a year-long rolling Project Pan. So I have 6 items that I am working on longer-term goals for, think hitting pan or finishing. I have 3 items that I am trying to get to 10 uses on, and then 1 palette of the month. This month I had 2 palettes of the month because they were both quads, and I think we'll start with those. Let's just go in a completely different order than we usually go in this video. And my palettes of the month were these ColourPop quads. So I have Acai You Baby, which is a reddish purple quad. I did not use this one as much as I used the other one. I think I dipped into this matte shade a couple of times and I used this pink a few times, but didn't really get fantastic usage on this. I was a little bit surprised actually. I used Citrus Fizz quite a bit more. This is just a really easy palette. I found myself using this peach to set up a crease quite often, even if I wasn't using the other shades in the palette. I like both of these shimmers. This brown is a nice depth for the deepest shade in the palette for me. I find that I don't use shades deeper than this, or honestly often this deep in my everyday looks. So it was a really nice little quad to use. I did enjoy both of these. I could see myself at some point maybe taking this shade out and decluttering the rest of this palette, but overall, I think they're really nice. I was glad to get them out and use them this month. So now for the palette I'll be using in the month of late August and through September. And we have the Natasha Denona Cupid palette. I do not remember if I received this in a BoxyCharm or if I purchased this through BoxyCharm, but either way, the path from Natasha Denona to me involved a little detour in BoxyCharm world. So here is what this looks like. I think that in the palette this looks very red. However, swatched out, I feel like this is a more reddish toned neutral palette. The 2 outside shades I think pull pretty red, but there's this trio on the inside that is not very red at all. And I think that this color scheme reads very fall. It's pretty. I think that little bit of red will bring out the green in my eyes. I think it'll be a nice one to work on. And I thought about bringing in another palette along with this because it is such a small palette, but I feel like this is a palette that I always think of as being red, even though, like I said, it's really not. And red eyeshadow is not something that I think to reach for very often. So I think that if I had another palette in, that I would just choose that one over this consistently. And I don't want that to happen. I have a couple of lovely Natasha Denona palettes that are just criminally underused. And let's get it down to just having one Natasha Denona palette that is criminally underused. Now we're going to go through the products that I'm trying to get to 10 uses each on. I did get 2 products to those 10 uses, and they are this Aesthetica highlight. This is the Starlight highlighter in the shade Cosmos. It is a very warm pink. I think this is very pretty. I sped through those 10 uses, and I've actually used it a couple of times beyond the 10 uses in the past month. I don't know why I hadn't used this in so long. When I brought this in last month's update, it was because I was going through the drawer where I keep all of my cheek and face products and realized that I didn't actually know what this one looked like. I'd used it before. I'd actually used it quite a bit before, but it had been long enough that I didn't have a great mental image of what this looked like, and it's really pretty. I don't think I'm going to forget this one again, which Famous last words, perhaps. But I did enjoy working on that one. I also got to 10 uses on this Viseart bronzer, which I know I looked up in the last video how to pronounce it, but I have already forgotten. I will have it up here, but this is a warm brown. I believe that they have like 3 or 4 bronzer shades in this collection, and this is the lightest of the bunch. I like this bronzer. I feel like it pulls a little bit orange and a little bit yellow on me, but not so much that I can't work with it. I think this would be a hard one for me to pull off in winter when my skin doesn't really change color very much, but I feel like the vibe is different. Now in June, July, August, September, this felt very workable, and I did like it, which was good. And the last product is the only one that I haven't gotten to 10 uses on yet. I am sitting at 6 uses on this Tarte C H2O balm. The one that I have here is in the shade Zen. This is the only one of these that I have left. At one point I had, I believe, 5, and I really have never gotten good use on these. I've had to declutter 4 of the 5 that I had. This is the only one I've got left, like I said. I've enjoyed it. It is a quite pretty peachy nude shade. It doesn't pull too orange on me, but I have 4 more uses. I do not think I will have any problem getting to those 4 uses really in the next couple of weeks, but certainly in the next month. I hit my 10 use goal on 2 products, so I will be bringing in 2 new products to get to that 10 use goal. The first is this lip pencil that I am low-key trying to pan, but have not had in any projects or anything. So this is from the brand Vintage, and it is their lip pencil in the shade Mocha, I think. Mocha is still visible. I think the words before it are lip pencil, but I'm not 100% sure. Now here is a swatch of that. I think that it will go pretty well with the Tarte. I'm wearing it today actually with a Bare Minerals liquid lipstick. It's pretty versatile. I do not see it being some great feat to get this to 10 uses. And I'm hoping that in that 10 uses I will be able to sharpen this maybe 3-4 times and hopefully be a little bit lower at next month's update. Fingers crossed. And I've been cycling my bronzers into this project, and I think the second to last, or maybe even final, I'd need to go back and look at my notes. But one of the few remaining bronzers that I have to work on is this one from Too Cool, which is the Art Class by Rodin Contour. Here is what this looks like. I have, I believe, the original shade. I have considered purchasing the cooler version, but I've not yet pulled the trigger on that. This is, I would say, more of a neutral bronzer. There are 3 shades in this. It's not terribly pigmented, as I think you can tell. I tend to just swirl my brush through all of the shades. Sometimes if I'm really wanting to carve out my cheekbones, I focus over here a little bit more. If I'm just trying to add a little bit of bronze to my face, I tend to go more for these 2 colors. I don't foresee it being a problem to get to 10 uses. I think I might get to 10 uses in the next 2 weeks. In the past, when I have brought this out, I have really enjoyed it, and I don't see that being any different this time around. I know that I did this to myself, but switching the order on this video is really messing with me. I think what we have left to do is talk about the longer term products. So first we have this YC Collection blush. I have gotten effectively no use on this month. I've used it maybe twice. I'm right about here in the product. I did not get a ton of use on this month because I was convinced that I was so close on this lovely cookie blusher from Etude. At one point this month, I really thought that I saw a little glimmer of pan. I had not, but then I was like, well, Iris, if you are so close that you think you might be seeing pan, why don't you just focus on this and see pan? And that was like 3 weeks ago. I've worn it 5 times a week since, and there's still no pan. But I can very, very clearly see all of the rings through the product. True, I have been able to do that for ages at this point, but I'm just keeping on with it. I want this thing to have pan. I feel like I've used this so many times. I do like it. It gives a really pretty flush to the cheeks. I rather enjoy using the little powder puff that comes in it, but I want it to look like I enjoy it as much as I feel like I've enjoyed it. And it's not there yet. A couple of months ago, I brought in this little Copacetic Cosmetics loose highlighter sample. This is the shade Dynamite. I have used this a couple of times, and let's see. Yeah, I can't see any progress on it. I am still just about halfway, at the halfway mark on this product. I think that I have lost more to my vanity, and there's more like light green with little red glitters on my vanity than actually ended up on my cheeks this month, but whatever. It's still getting used. It's not like I'm dumping it on purpose. It's just a messy product. What are you gonna do? And then, let's see. Oh, 2 more products to talk about. The first one I actually don't have to show you today. I think that I must have thrown this away after my last empties video. I've had this done for ages. It was a little Nest fragrance in a hibiscus scent. I used it. I liked it. I had a sampler of, I think, 7 minis from Nest, and I really did enjoy that sampler. The hibiscus the hibiscus scent was not my favorite of the bunch. If I were to go and purchase, I would buy Poppy or maybe Wisteria Blue. I thought that was a fun one too. The hibiscus one was nice, but just not my absolute favorite. Then one more product that I can roll out is this Cinderella Super Shock Shadow. I've had this in since the beginning of the year, and I think that I actually could have rolled this out at the last update, but it's a light silvery shade, so the pan, which itself is a light silver, was not super obvious. It's right there in the center. I really enjoy this. This is the type of shade, a type of shade that I really enjoy. I love Cinderella. She has long since been my favorite Disney princess. When I was a kid, I'm sure it was because she was blonde and blue-eyed and had a little bob cut. Now, as an adult, the single moment for me that makes Cinderella is when she finishes washing that floor and she is ready to hit that cat with a broom for messing it up immediately after she finished. And I mean, I would never hit a cat. Let's just be clear on that. I am vegetarian. I'm more gentle than is probably good for me. But I appreciate the sentiment. I can identify with that sentiment. So the 2 products that I am bringing in, first we have a Super Shock to replace the Cinderella one. And this is down in New Orleans. It is from the same collection. This is the Tiana one. Is this a little bit cheating because I've had to repress this because it just came shattered? Maybe. It'll probably be a little bit easier to hit pan on. But I've also had the Cinderella one in since the beginning of the year. So I would not bet on my ability to hit pan in a timely manner, which again, my goal with this one, as with the Cinderella one, is just going to be to hit pan because I have finished Super Shocks in the past. I finished actually several Super Shocks when I was in college and like my first year or two of grad school. But I'm not up to that now. I'm not as ambitious as I was when I was 21. And then the last product is a fragrance. This is from Memoir Archives, and it is the scent Destination Unknown. It is a very woodsy scent, and I don't have very much of this. Not because I've used it. I think this just leaked in the box when it came to me, and I didn't notice for a while. So I figure this is a nice scent for going into fall. It's a little bit hot for it today because it's like 101 degrees today, hence the very lovely messy bun. But yeah, I think I could use this up in a month or two. There really is not a whole lot left. Like, I'm shaking this and I can barely hear any liquid sloshing around. So this will be a nice one to use a few times, move on out, and just have one less fragrance sitting around. So I think this was a good month. I was able to roll out 2 of my longer term items as well as 2 of the 10-use items. That's pretty average for me. In the next month, I really hope that I will be able to hit pan in this Etude blush. I think that hitting pan in the Super Shock is not out of the question, and I will likely be able to finish this fragrance. And you know, if I happen to hit any other goals, that'll be just awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please consider liking and subscribing if you did, and I hope that I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.